Welcome to the Spartan Sports Report, everybody. And Sam and I are happy to welcome the Athletic Director at CHS, Mr. Brent Duncan, who is joining us for another visit. Thanks, Brent.
Thanks for inviting me back.
It's always good to have him, Sam.
Oh, it is.
He has a lot of
I
information.
feel like we have a great show whenever Brent's along with us.
Appreciate it.
He's in charge of the Spartan Sports, and a happy day. We had a happy Friday in Rushville, right?
It's a good Friday. I got to bring home a little trophy. That's a great thing.
Did you have room for the trophy?
I had it in the back seat of my car, so Mr. Russell and I had plenty of room. So,
And it'll be on display.
currently it's sitting in the principal's office, displayed in the window.
Okay. It's a handsome trophy.
Yeah, it's rather large. It's pretty heavy too. So, but
Okay.
we'll get our little score engraved on it here with get it done at the trophy shop, and we'll put that out to display, and hopefully we'll retain that for next year.
That was a War on 44 trophy.
Yeah, I think it's been the 12th year of doing that. I think it started when Mr. Snodgrass was here, and it's kind of a good little deal.
Well, it's great to have the Spartans bring that back home with them.
We've had some bad luck the last 2 or 3
Yes.
years. 2 years ago we were up by 20 in the fourth, and then it kind of fell apart. And last year we had them, and it kind of lost it at the end. It was good to see that tide turn this year, especially at their place. It's always a rival. It doesn't matter what your records are.
That's true.
It's always a good ball game when we play them. So
Whatever's on paper before that game doesn't mean a thing.
no, it's that little cross county thing. So
And probably watching them play, and we talked about it on the radio, best 0-4 team that we've seen. I thought they played well as well. Just we ended up 10 points better.
yeah, they had a couple, bad offensive sets, and unfortunately for us, we had a couple fumbles that kind of thwarted a couple of our drives. But their running back's pretty good. That's
Yes, he is.
assistant AD's Jerry Craig's boy,
I thought
and
probably was.
I asked him where he got his size because he's a lot bigger than Dad. I don't know how big Mom is, but he's a lot bigger than Dad. So, but he's been hurt the last couple of years with shoulder surgery and some other things. But he ran well the other night. So
They had some, but number one, the Spartans had quite a time trying to corral him.
yeah, I
in
mean,
the first half.
as long as you're doing your responsibilities and maintaining your areas, sometimes that's easy. But sometimes it comes down to just me out tackling you or you running over me. So it's getting yourselves in those right positions all the time. But in the end, everything worked out the way it's supposed to work out.
We'll talk a little bit more about the game and have some highlights from it because TV3 were on the road, so we were happy to see the Spartans get a victory. But other things going on, for instance, today, Monday, the boys soccer team is in action at Greensburg. The boys tennis team is meeting Franklin County at the Spartan Courts. In junior varsity football, Rushville visits Spartan Stadium. The girls soccer is home with Centerville, and it is volleyball travels to Richmond, a busy Monday.
Yeah, it's I know there's some coaches you'd like to talk to, but the guys we need to talk to and ladies,
That's right.
they all have an event except for cross country, and Glenn's busy getting set up for a 17-team invitational tomorrow, so he has a little bit of work to do this afternoon once he gets out of cross country practice.
How
So,
many teams?
17 counting us, so
That's a lot.
That's counting. Well, that's 34 if you get down to, because they each usually have a boys and a girls. So there'll be a lot of kids tomorrow night out
gee.
at CHS. So
Right. On Tuesday, in addition to what Brent just told us about, the boys tennis team will be playing at East Central, and the cross-country teams host, it's called the Connorsville Invitational. Has a 5:30 start time. The volleyball, JV, and varsity will be home to Cambridge City Lincoln at the CHS gym. Wednesday is an idle day. Thursday, the boys soccer will be home to Oldenburg Academy. A boys tennis team will be at Greensburg. That's a conference tournament, right?
opening round of the conference tournament, and then also on the soccer night, it's senior night for the boys soccer team and
Okay.
senior night for boys tennis night. And we also have youth league recognition soccer on Thursday night before the game.
On Friday night, the Spartans will be hosting Indianapolis Broad Ripple at Spartan Field, and that's a homecoming game.
Homecoming against the Ripple Rockets, so let's hope we put two in a row together.
And on Saturday, the soccer will be the boys soccer will be home to Shelbyville in a game that starts 12 o'clock noon. JV team will be playing at 10. That hasn't changed, has it?
Nope.
Sometimes you guys
Nope.
change times here.
Sometimes that just depends on the number of players. If we don't have a full JV, we'll play varsity first and JV second. But both
Okay.
us and Shelbyville will have a full squad, so it'll stay the same.
Good. The boys tennis team will be in action at Greensburg for the tournament that Brent talked about. Opens on Thursday, continues on Saturday. The cross-country teams will be at Rushville. That's the conference tournament.
Yeah, that starts at 10. The boys' race will be at 10, and the girls' race will follow as soon as that race is over. So that is the conference tournament. So everybody from the conference will be at Rushville Saturday morning, which is nice because if you get out of our sectional in October, that's also the regional course. So we'll get a chance to run on that a little bit early. So
Sure. And also on Saturday, the volleyball teams will be in action at South Dearborn. That has an 11 o'clock starting time. Let's go to the middle school here. Today, the volleyball team is meeting Centerville. The middle school 7th and 8th grade football teams will be playing Benjamin Rush. That's on Tuesday. And swimming and diving team will be in a meet with Sunman at 5:30 at the CHS Natatorium. On Wednesday, the volleyball team plays Hagerstown. On Thursday, the swimming and diving team will be meeting Greendale at 6 o'clock at the pool at CHS. The cross-country team at the middle school will be meeting Sunman. And that's about it for sports this week, but everybody's busy.
always busy. It's a good thing.
With homecoming this week, are there some activities going on, some special events at school? Or
Yeah, they actually did kickball last week because of the conflicts tonight. So I think the sophomore class actually won the kickball tournament. Wednesday is the annual homecoming Olympics. Starts at 7. It'll be in CHS gym. Friday we'll have a little pep session at school. Of course, Friday night we'll suit them up and take on the Ripple Rockets at 7. So for a good experience time.
And I think we've talked about it before, but this is the last season we'll be playing Broad Ripple that is tentatively closing, maybe closing for sure. And we picked up Jennings County, is that correct?
Yeah, this is last year on our contract to begin with, so when it was running down, we were looking for another school, and Jennings County contacted us, so I think it'll be a good step, at least from a competition standpoint. Not saying anything negative about Broad Ripple. They just, in the last 2 or 3 years, the program's gotten better, but they're still only fielding maybe 22 kids on the varsity team or in their whole program, and you just never know how many they're going to come out. One year, I think they had 15 or 16, so overall, plus the fan base will probably be a little bit better. 2 years ago we came, and unfortunately for the Broad Ripple kids, there's only 3 people in the stands. There's somebody's kids that's not getting rooted on, and you feel bad for them. So
yeah, it makes it tough for the kids. Jennings County, North Vernon is where the school is, right?
yeah, just out on the west edge of town. So
Yes.
as you go out, what is it, 50 that goes across there? So
State Road 3 down to 50, and not a bad trip, and nice. I've not been to their football field, but we used to play them in basketball, boys and girls, and nice campus they have there.
yeah, I mean, I've not been on their football field either, but I've been inside their gym a few times. I've seen their tennis courts. I know they put a bypass in around Jennings County. I would suggest next year when you go, don't take the bypass because it really goes out of the way from the high school. So
yeah.
it's just as quick to go right down 3 to 50 and come across to the school. So
And we will be playing there next season.
yeah, we should be on the road next year on
Yes.
this week. So
Yes. Spartans Friday night at Rushville came away with a 10-point lead of 44 to 34 was the final. Let's look at some of the video from that game. In the opening ceremonies. This is the guy running wide to the right and scooting into the end zone.
that's the Craig kid. That's the assistant AD's kid. He's a 3-sport athlete. Pretty good little athlete.
Yeah, they were able to score early on us.
Yeah, they. I thought there for a while we left the defense on the bus. Maybe.
Got off to a slow start. It was good to see the first drive. At least we come down and got a field goal from Du Bois. So
Yes.
it seems like we were able to answer back quickly each time they scored. So
Another score there by the Spartans puts them within 3, but
Yeah, Dalton had a great game. Well, what, 300 yards rushing?
I think I saw Adam had put out, Coach Kelly put out, he had 325 yards. And I think he said we had like 450 some as a team in the game.
Shows the halftime score. The Spartans down by 3, and the beginning of the homecoming ceremonies. They had young ladies and young men that were candidates for King and Queen, and they did that crowning at halftime. Du Bois again, number 32. Dalton had quite a game.
Yeah, he's fun to watch. Here we are in regular speed.
He outruns them all.
I think there are kids who, when you put your pads on, lose your speed sometime. I think that Dalton and Donovan, neither one lose their foot speed as well as the Craig kid from Russell. The pads doesn't slow them down at all.
Spartans took a while for them to get that lead, but finally able to, and
Was
a nice win. But Lions still threatening right up into the closing minutes.
Yeah, it was nice to get that 10-point lead and get that 2-point score, because right now, at that point in time, defenses weren't stopping many people
Yes.
at that point in time. So I was afraid it was going to be he who has the ball last is the winner. So it was good to be up those 2 scores. And
yeah, when
of course, this punch in by Donovan here right late in the game.
That was huge.
yes, with
So-
under 2 minutes left to play.
I think
but
that was 3rd and 6 or 7 at that point in time. We could still get a first down inside the 5, but a little kick out block by Bean and
we struggled with the
center
point
turned
after.
back and did all right. Yeah,
point
it's
after
unusual because
tries.
Dalton hadn't missed too many. We got a couple blocked in a row. And
So the coach went to the 2-point conversion at the end, and they were
Sealed it,
successful on that
yeah.
one. So there's the trophy.
both schools putting up their season high in points.
somebody pointed out that Whirlwind 44 was won with 3 points.
Yes,
So
it was.
I didn't think about that ahead of time.
It was a good game, but like Sam pointed out, in the early going, I thought, how did this team lose 4 ball games? But it seemed to me in the final quarter, maybe I'm wrong, but they just sort of ran out of gas, it seemed. I thought they physically, they really slowed down.
Standing on the sidelines on our side, and their assistant AD, Jerry Craig, was over there, and they were talking about, I'd say we were kind of fortunate. We haven't really had to play too many people both ways. I think there are some kids who could, but, you know, it's also got its other minuses. And he said they had 7 or 8 kids going both ways. So
Yeah.
when you're in a long battle and you're on the field a lot, that wears you out towards the end,
Sure.
and conditioning can take over. So
Yes.
I think we've seen marked improvement in our team this year by most of them not having to go both ways. And
yeah, there'll be a rare occasion where they'll put some of the, you know, I know like Shane McLean and Jason Beckman, the 2 inside linebackers, they don't play any offense at all. Occasionally they'll get on the goal line stance and go in as a lineman or whatever, but hardly any of our DBs are playing both ways. Du Bois might be the only one in the secondary that's playing both ways for the most part. And that does help when you can do that with
Oh,
your kids to
yes.
get them the rest,
Yes.
especially when it's a warm night. For that time of the year, it was a rather warm night
It was
standing
very
out
warm.
there, so great football weather. So
I think that's one of the successes that East Central has. They have so many kids that they have 2 different units, completely different units.
And we'll be seeing them in a couple of weeks. But hard to believe there's only 4 games left. We're more than halfway through.
I'm going to talk here a little
football.
bit about our remaining opponents here and see what's going on. Broad Ripple lost to Garin Catholic 56-14. Their record is 0-5. East Central won 51-10 over Batesville. East Central is 3-2, and they will be meeting the Spartans at their field on September 29th. So I was a little surprised at that wide a score.
Well, Batesville graduated a big senior class last year, so
Oh,
I
did
know
they?
they're kind of rebuilding. But, you know, Batesville's always pretty solid at football, whether
Yes.
they're rebuilding or not. But,
Yes.
you know, East Central's 3-2, but they lost to 2 pretty good schools in the,
In Ohio.
Cincinnati
in the
schools.
Cincinnati schools, and pretty solid. So
And Lawrenceburg defeated Franklin County 44-34. The Tigers' record is 4-1, and there will be the Spartans' home game on October the 6th, and that is senior night and pink out night.
yeah, October 6th is senior night, pink out night, and hopefully everybody come out and get dressed in your pink. We'll see if we can put some type of shirt together here. We've been talking about that for a couple of days, and we'll try to sell some pink footballs, and we'll donate that money to the Cancer Society. So it's always a good time, and then we'll recognize all of our seniors from the fall sports that night as well. So it'll be busy, so
Yeah.
come out and support the Spartans.
And then Batesville, as we mentioned earlier, lost to East Central, and the Bulldogs' record is 3-2, and the Spartans play at Batesville October 13th, last regular season game.
Well, that'll be hard to imagine, and Batesville's got that unique stadium over there, which I think used to belong to a horse track, is what
That's
I
what
get
it
the
looks
story.
like.
I got the story from Mark Ferguson, their last AD, and I do know at Batesville, we're going to join in with Batesville. They're doing a take back drug night, so any outdated drugs or prescription
yeah.
drugs that you
Good.
need to get rid of,
Good.
they will accept them from the adults. They won't accept them, for if kids are carrying. We don't want our kids to carry them, but we'll put some information out on our school website about that, and I'll tweet it out once we get all that information. But I got the flyer back approved Friday to put out there, so we'll get that out this week so people know
Good.
that's coming.
That'd be great. And then the week after that starts the sectional, and will Connersville be hosting a sectional?
Well, you never know. It just depends on the draw, so we'll just wait
okay.
till the draw comes out, and then I have to go back and read if the top teams will host this time.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember if it's East team, West team. We'll,
That's how it's determined. Oh,
yeah, normally it's the second team, and the
Second
bracket
team
is the
in
home
bracket.
team, and the home team usually hosts the first game. So it just
Okay.
depends on where we're drawn out of the hopper at. So
you have a date for the drawings?
I do, but I don't have it on top of my head.
Okay.
It'll all be televised. Everything's streamlined now on I think it's www.ihsetv.org, whatever it is the IHSA has.
Yeah.
Even the tennis one is now drawn by them. We used to draw it all by ourselves in the office the Monday of tennis sectional, which would be next week, and not this time. It's all being drawn by the IHSA, so we'll find out who we're playing in tennis next week. So, because the boys' tennis sectional is the 30th of September, which is just around the corner. Actually starts on Thursday, the 28th. So,
Okay.
Sure, all that information will be on
yeah, we'll
ihsaa.org.
it'll be on the .org site, and then we'll put it on our website, and we'll tweet it out once we get all the pairings. The boys and girls soccer sectional drawings coming this weekend or within the next week, so it's all busy. It's all coming to a head right now.
Is soccer predetermined where the section will be played, or is it like football? Where
No, it's predetermined based on if you feel like girls are playing at New Pal and boys are at Greenfield Central this year. So our soccer sectionals have changed once the new classifications come out. So we'll see how that rolls. We used to just have Franklin County and Rushville and Richmond, and that's all kind of changed again.
So the same teams that we would see in a basketball sectional. You mentioned New Pal and
Not necessarily.
and
There's Indian
Greenfield.
Creek's in there in baseball or softball, so there's some Beach Grove's in there on a couple. And I think I said the girls section was at New Pal. It's actually at Shelbyville because we thought it was going to be at New Pal when we set the meeting, and then New Pal got the regional, so they couldn't host the They're not hosting the sectional. So Shelbyville's doing the girls and Greenfield's doing the boys. So just depends. Be different. Having Beach
Keep
Grove.
us guessing.
Different people in your sectional that you haven't had for a while. So we're kind of scattered all over the state. I mean, classes, boys are 3A and soccer, girls is 2A, baseball is now back to 4A, but girls softball's at 3A, boys basketball's at 4A.
Oh, wow.
So
Do they reclassify every 2 years?
every 2 years,
Every
based
2
off
years,
your
based on
enrollment. So,
yeah.
so the next 2 years where we're at, and then we'll reclassify after next year. So
Here's how some area teams did from Friday night. Centerville is 4-1. They won over Union City 38-6. Union County is 2-2. The Patriots lost to Hagerstown 34-6. Cambridge City is 0-5. They lost 36-13 to Winchester, and Richmond lost to Marion 41-0. The Red Devils' record is 0-5.
Breaks my heart, Fran.
I wasn't going to bring it up this week, but
Well,
Sam wants
I'd do
to
it
talk
for you.
about Richmond. I mean, after the game Friday, he said, "Boy, when you beat the 2 R's in one season," he said, "it's good."
It's a good night. It's a good season. Yes, sir.
and we just had the bad last minute and a half against Greensburg. We could be sitting at 4-1. on
That's
football
right.
game right now.
Absolutely. If we had
I
that
think
back.
if we win homecoming this Friday, it'll be 5 years in a row we've won a homecoming game, which might be a long streak for us. I'm not sure how long we've done that. So
That's great.
I was going to ask the athletic director if he knew some of the winter sports starting dates. I have them written down here.
Well, off the top of my head, I think girls basketball is the first to go, and it's like October 17th, right in that area. So I have them on my list on my calendar. It gives me little notifications when it comes up. But they're around October 17th. The boys are right around the 1st of November, and maybe a little bit later than that. It's the first week Monday of before fall break, and I can't remember that date. So
Have the basketball had their tryouts?
no, they won't do anything until that first official date starts.
Oh, okay. That's regulated
Yeah.
statewide.
Yeah, I mean, they have open gyms and they have workouts,
Yes.
but you can't actually make any cuts or
Okay.
decisions. Not that they don't think about decisions ahead of time.
Yes.
but they can't actually do anything until after those start date times. So
Okay. Yeah. I have Thursday, November the 2nd for the girls basketball in New Palestine.
oh, you meant opening games?
And the first home game is on Saturday, November 4th. with Indy's Cardinal Ritter. Does that sound right?
Yep.
I didn't have the date, but I had it in my head. First girls' games, I think 46 days from
I was
today.
thinking you meant tryouts is when they actually get to try out.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, and then on October the 28th, the Spartans will have a scrimmage with Union County at Spartan Bowl.
Yep. And the girls?
That's the girls. I think.
Yes, that's girls. Yep.
12 o'clock noon start time. Yeah. And the girls' freshman basketball team opens Wednesday, November the 8th at East Central, according to your schedule.
Yeah, that depends on if we have, if we have enough girls to have a freshman.
Okay.
So it kind of is on the edge. So once we get our numbers out and see where we lie, we'll work on making sure the schedule's all where it needs to be. So we try to play the boys freshmen and the girls freshmen on the same night in our conference. So we'll try to set those dates, and once we determine if everybody's going to have a freshman team or a C team sometime. So once that number comes out here right towards the end of October, we'll kind of know where we're headed with the freshman schedule.
Yes.
So
Okay.
And when you say C team, players don't necessarily have to be freshmen?
no, sometimes a lot of schools will have some upperclassmen that are sophomores that don't get a lot of playing time at the JV, and we all let them come down and get some time with that group. We just call it a C team. So the more kids that we have in our program playing, it's better to have them playing someplace than not
Certainly.
playing at all. So once everybody gets, everybody's going to have a varsity and JV. We're just never always sure if everybody's going to have a freshman or a C team squad. So.
On Saturday, November the 18th, the varsity wrestling team will be at Newcastle. I have the JV wrestling team going to Jennings County that day.
Those are usually the first two, the opening day. So the Newcastle one used to be a 2-dayer, now it's down to a 1-dayer. So.
Yeah.
And then of course JV always depends on our numbers again. We don't want to travel to Jennings County if we're only going to have 2 or 3 kids, because a lot of the varsity matches they'll have extra mat time where JV kids will wrestle and get mat time in. So it's not always, I don't want to say it's not worth it, but to travel maybe an hour and 20 minutes with 2 or 3 kids to go wrestle, that's not worth our time for the kids, and when they can get other time in at other places. So once we see what our numbers is, and Mac and Justin's done a great job of getting our kids' numbers up, so hopefully our wrestling numbers will be up, and that won't be an issue.
Good deal. On Monday, November the 20th, I have the boys freshman basketball team meeting Greensburg at Connorsville. And do they play at the CHS gym or Spartan Bowl or Spartan Arena? Or?
The boys' freshman team and the girls' freshman team play at most of the games play at the high school gym.
Okay.
There are a couple occasions where we do a varsity, JV, and freshman all in one night, and they'll play in the Spartan Arena sometimes at the middle school. But that's a rare time. But
Yeah. And I have the Union County and the Spartans will be having a scrimmage at Knightstown on November the 18th.
it should be that Saturday before the opening night. So
Right.
That's Knightstown. We've scrimmaged with them the last several years.
Yeah. So and last year we were at their place, and so we should be at our place this year.
The Spartans, of course, open with Union County on the 22nd.
Big night.
Day before Thanksgiving, right?
Always everybody back in the gym. It's a packed house. It's a great
That's
time.
fun.
I always kind of laugh because Ryan Overholt, the AD at Union County, always takes a picture. He's from Ohio. So he always takes a picture of the bowl and sends it to all his buddies, say this is what basketball actually looks like. And then they send back a picture of football, and this is what football looks like. So
That's the way it works.
New look at Union County with Coach Detweiler moving on, and a new basketball coach over there.
yeah, I don't really know the new basketball coach's name, but we'll see Coach Detweiler again because he's now at Delta, and we're going to play Delta the Saturday right after Christmas. So he did a great job over there, so I'm assuming he'll do the same type of job at Delta when he gets there.
Yes,
so.
he's
Solid.
And Delta had a nice basketball team last year. I don't know if they were senior laden or not, but they had a solid basketball team last year, which they always have a decent team. So we'll see what happens.
That's at Muncie, isn't it?
Just on the north side at Royerton, just to go up to 3 to 28 and hang a right on 28, and sits about 3/4 of a mile down on the left. So, actually, student taught there in 1983.
I was there several years ago. The girls played there.
Yeah, we used to have them on a girls' schedule, and then they wanted to drop us off their schedule. So, I'm not sure why. It was always a good rivalry and a good game. So, but they have different conference affiliations, and they got different things they need to do too. So.
And the boys and girls swimming, they'll be at Centerville on Monday, November the 27th. That's a diving event only. And the first home swim meet will be the following day, Tuesday the 28th, and it'll be Batesville, Rushville coming to the CHS pool.
Well, that's going to change. Rushville has dropped their swimming program.
Oh, have they?
So we're going to bring Eastern Hancock in. It's going to come in with that night. So it'll be Batesville against and us and Eastern Hancock. So
They don't have a pool, do they, at?
I think they actually swam at Knightstown at the Soldiers and Sailors Home. And I think the cost prohibitive just busing the kids up there and back to practice every day.
Sure.
And I don't know how many numbers they had, but right before school started, they told us they were going to drop their swimming program for at least this year. I don't know if it's permanent or not, but so Eastern Hancock was looking for a meet, so we invited them in. And
Good.
of course, Batesville doesn't have a pool, so we'll host it at our place, and we'll go from there.
Great. And the final winter sports gymnastic team, they'll have a preview night on Wednesday, December the 13th, and they open their season on Wednesday, January the 9th, meeting Newcastle and New Palestine at Connersville.
And that's kind of fortunate for them. They get to have a lot of meets at home just because of the equipment issues. And,
Yes.
which is great. In fact, this year we might only have one besides the Fort Wayne Concordia tournament. I think we're going to go to Columbus East for the dual meet, but we actually have the sectional and the regional this year at home because Columbus East is hosting the boys basketball sectional, and they can't get their gym set up and torn down in the same night as.
Okay.
So.
Back to the Spartan basketball, there are 12 home games for the boys, 9 home games for the girls. Still time to get those all-sports tickets?
Any day, come out to the athletic office, and Mrs. Pearson will take care of you with your all-sport tickets.
You mentioned the athletic office. Speak a little bit about that you've changed locations.
Yeah, we're not over across from the Robert E. Wise anymore. We're now in the main office with everybody else. That way people who come to our campus is more secure. They have to come in through the front office. And of course, you know, we have cameras on campus, and that way we know if they come in and go out, and we can see them leave and come there. So everybody's signing in and signing out at the same place. So, and she sits right out in front, so they can buy their tickets right through the front window, and just sold a couple more today. So
At one time, the athletic department was in that building.
I thought Mr. Cirkwood told me at one time he was over there,
I
and
think
then he
so.
was over at the place where we have been, and I thought at one time it was at the middle school still, but I could be wrong back where the concession stand is. So
May have been. Of course, I was the first class out of there in 1970, and I think it was still up at, that Mr. Heck still had it up at Spartan Bowl.
So it's been a few places, but
Well, it's good to know that you're located there. I know you're keeping busy. I suppose you're working on spring sports.
they should hopefully be pretty much solid and squared away. So as this fall's finishing up, we're already starting to think about next fall and contracts and
Yes.
games, and coaches want things changed here and there, and it takes a little bit of time. So we should be solid for this year, what we have coming. There might be a few blurbs with weather and whatever, but
Oh, sure.
so
That's right. That's right. Well, it's a busy time at CHS with all these tourneys and everything coming up, but you're going to have your hands full, and the lights will be on late at night, I guess.
well, yeah, we have this, you know, like I said, we have the soccer or tennis sectional next week, and then October the 7th, which is a Saturday, we host a cross country sectional. So big invite tomorrow, and it's all good though. Every time we get people on campus, the better off we can be.
You got a special event Thursday, a youth soccer night type of thing.
Yeah, we're going to introduce all the youth soccer teams, or at least let them run across the soccer field at the night of the boys soccer
Great.
against Oldenburg, and then at halftime of that game, we'll have the senior night for our 6 senior boys, and then tonight we got senior night for tennis, and there's 5 senior boy tennis players and a senior girl manager, so they're all get their little bios read tonight, and of course the last night, September, I don't know, is it October the 6th, last home football game, we'll introduce them all at the varsity football game.
And
Band
the girls,
included.
Girls basketball will be selling garden flags this Friday night. I
Garden flags this Friday night, and I think we're going to let our yearbook, they got a few Spartan Pride umbrellas that they bought last year, so that the last home game, they'll probably sell some umbrellas at the basketball game. She said she had 58 left, so she would like to get rid of all of them. That goes to the yearbook.
Thanks for joining us, Brent.
Glad to be back, and I'm glad you asked me.
Thanks for watching the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3.